While I was putting the channel up on Rumble, a new subscriber joined us. Welcome, Stephen White. Glad to have you with us. Stephen commented on many of the videos. In this episode, I'd like to look at some of his comments on astronomy. First, a very sharp observation. Using aperture size and the inverse square law of light, I would like anyone to show that the telescopes can see the distances they claim. Any astronomy textbook will give the formula. These days, few astronomers look through telescopes, and nobody ever sees the pictures shown in the astronomy books and on the astronomy websites. Today's huge telescopes have charge-coupled devices, not observers. There's a motor which turns the telescope throughout the night. The charge-coupled device picks up all sorts of signals, presumably most of them coming from where the instrument is pointing. A computer program interprets those signals. Then a photoshopper gets to work. All very impressive, but we have no way of knowing how far those stars and galaxies and those Photoshop images are away from us. Parallax measurement of distance assumes the Earth orbits the Sun. Redshifts are interpreted in ways long known to be invalid. And without knowing distances, we can't estimate sizes. So everything the astronomers tell us are only guesstimates. Stephen made another brilliant comment. Astronomy, one of the few sciences where every time you look into a telescope, you're surprised, but are without a doubt positive your theories are correct. That's been the case for many years. But a game-changer telescope, the huge James Webb Space Telescope, a marvel of engineering, was built to astounding tolerances and sent out into space. In space, there's no atmosphere to impair the view. There's negligible distortion of the mirrors due to gravity. It's possible to observe distant objects in amazing detail. So now astronomers have had to accept that many of their astronomical speculations, guesses and assumptions are wrong. Let's look at a recent video. Why are we seeing the same universe again?
The James Webb Telescope has just revealed something both fascinating and unsettling about the early universe. Scientists are now claiming that the galaxies they've discovered beyond the Dark Ages appear to be mirror images of our own, and they were surprisingly abundant within the first billion years after the Big Bang. This completely challenges our current cosmological theories, which suggest that the universe evolved in an orderly way. Also, recently, as scientists peer deeper and deeper into the early universe, they are uncovering even more astonishing and disturbing findings. The number of galaxies being observed is far greater than expected, and there seems to be no end in sight, making it feel as though the universe has no clear beginning or end. Some scientists are now saying that it appears as if we're seeing the same universe again, or a mirror image of our own near the time of the Big Bang. This is deeply concerning and raises serious questions about whether there is any predictable pattern in the evolution of our universe.
Lior Shamir, an associate professor at Kansas State University, has some worrying things to say about the current discoveries made by the James Webb Telescope. He said, "James Webb Telescope provided deep images of the very early universe, but instead of showing an infant early universe, it showed large and mature galaxies. If the Big Bang happened as scientists initially believed, these galaxies are older than the universe itself.
Look at this image. Here you can see a galaxy that is blowing scientists' minds. Seriously, it's shaking up everything we thought we knew about how the universe works. It's called Zhulong, and it's just been discovered by astronomers using the James Webb Space Telescope. What's crazy is that this is a fully formed spiral galaxy, and it's the oldest spiral galaxy in the early universe we've ever discovered. It existed when the universe was only about 1 billion years old. That's super early in cosmic terms. For comparison, our universe is around 13.8 billion years old today. Now here's the part that's freaking scientists out. Galaxies like this, especially spiral ones with those neat, well-defined arms, aren't supposed to exist so early. According to our current models of how the universe evolved, these kinds of galaxies should take billions of years to form. They're expected to grow slowly over time through a bunch of messy mergers with smaller galaxies. But this galaxy, Zhulong, already looks mature. It has a central bulge filled with old stars, a bright disk where new stars are being born, and clear spiral arms just like our own Milky Way. In fact, that's why scientists are calling it the most distant Milky Way twin we've ever seen. Its size and structure just don't make sense based on the standard cosmological model, which is the foundation of how we think the universe formed and evolved. First study author Mengyuan Xiao, a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Geneva, said in a statement that what makes Zhulong stand out is just how much it resembles the Milky Way, both in shape, size, and stellar mass. While Zhulong is unquestionably older than the Milky Way, it could be mistaken for our galaxy's little sibling. Still, Zhulong is by far the largest Milky Way look-alike spotted at such an early time in the universe's history. And here's the wild part. It's not just one galaxy like the Milky Way that we found in the early universe. We've actually seen several spiral galaxies that look surprisingly similar to our own, popping up way earlier than they should. We've talked before about some of these discoveries, like Sears 2112, which the James Webb Space Telescope found in 2023. This galaxy is about 11.7 billion light-years away, which means we're seeing it as it was when the universe was still really young. Yet it already had a well-defined spiral shape just like our Milky Way. And just recently, scientists have found another massive galaxy in the early universe that looks like a giant wheel version of our own galaxy. And Webb data suggests there are many more galaxies like it in the early universe. The discovery of Zhulong joins a growing list of well-formed Milky Way-like galaxies spotted by the James Webb Telescope in the early universe. This is a big deal, and honestly, it's a bit of a headache for scientists. According to our current understanding of the universe, galaxies like the Milky Way take billions of years to slowly grow and evolve. Our own galaxy, for example, took about 13 billion years to become what it is today. So, how on Earth, or rather, how in the universe, are we seeing galaxies that look just like ours forming only 1 billion years after the Big Bang? It doesn't add up. Some scientists are now asking a really deep question. Why does the early universe seem to mirror the universe we see around us today? It's like we're looking at cosmic twins in the past, and no one really knows how or why they got there so fast.
How amazing that they realize they're looking at reflections. But they haven't got it quite right. They think those reflections might be from some nearby parallel universe. But it amazed me to see how quickly they've come quite close to the biblical model we looked at in episodes 47 to 49. And that brings me to another of Stephen's great comments. Galaxy spin would be reversed in a mirror, so the distribution would be equal, not what we see, which is a majority in one direction. That appears to be true for nearby galaxies, which astronomers can see with a telescope. Just a few of them may be reflections. But the James Webb is looking at reflections of galaxies which have been reflected several times. We can see plenty of spinning galaxies. About half are spinning clockwise and half anti-clockwise, just as we would expect if there were mirror images, as in the biblical model. Everybody in the video realizes there's something drastically wrong with their model, but they're looking for a way out by considering little details like star formation.
So what is a dark star?
Well, the very first stars that form, and this would have been 200 million years after the Big Bang. As a reminder, the universe is 14 billion years old, so that was very early on, the very first light, the very first objects. They could have been very different from normal stars. Instead of being powered by fusion, they could have been powered by dark matter. And at the center there, you have the very high dark matter concentration with the dark matter particles annihilating with each other. And what that means is whatever they annihilate into gets stuck inside this star.
It suggests that the way we've been measuring the age and evolution of the universe might be fundamentally flawed. And that could mean everything we thought we knew about the universe's beginning needs to be rethought. All these discoveries made by the James Webb Space Telescope have completely shaken up our understanding of the universe. Until recently, scientists believed the early universe was a quiet, dark place with no galaxies for hundreds of millions of years after the Big Bang. But Webb has turned that idea on its head by spotting galaxies that existed just a few hundred million years after the universe began, even during a time once called the Cosmic Dark Ages. Even more surprising, some of these galaxies look just like our Milky Way with spiral arms and fully developed structures.
They can't see that almost everything about their story is utterly wrong. They can't get away from redshifts being indicators of distance and time, in spite of William Tift and Halton Arp's refutations. They can't get away from the ludicrous idea that nothing exploded into everything in a fairy tale Big Bang. They can't get away from ridiculous inventions like dark matter and dark energy, which were only concocted to try to keep the Big Bang alive long after it was already dead. They can't get away from all those mythical millions of years, and they can't yet accept the obvious. Those spiral galaxies are reflections of reflections, as we saw in episode 49. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Thank you for joining me for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe and press the bell so that you'll be notified as I release new movies. If you'd like to support this project, you're welcome to do so through Patreon. Find a link on my channel banner and in the description below.